Hello, beautiful Capricorns. Welcome to the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree for your Virgo season reading. Thank you for allowing me to do this reading for you. So our first card is going to be the one in the center, which is going to be representing your heart space. I will then go over to the left-hand side to the center card there, which will be representing your first house in the astrological wheel, and we will work our way counterclockwise around this circle until we get to the 12th house. So Capricorn, let's see what comes out here for you. At first glance, I'm feeling a lot of magic off of these cards. I know in some of my earlier readings I've seen this rainbow come through that I associate with your energy, or at least it's cropped up in some of the earth readings. And I just think that you guys are kind of holding that energy of change, that really difficult change that has been things that have been solidified through you are in need of transforming. And it's difficult for you and it's difficult for everyone else. And in the present moment, it's sometimes hard to see why it's necessary. Yet without your energy as a whole, the beings on this earth may not be able to do the transformation in a way, or at least in a timeline that makes sense. So it almost harkens back to World War II, the type of energy that presented itself there, because in the cause and effect relationship that happened through that, the change that came out of that was, it sped things up for humanity. And I think that we are in this place where we're being beckoned to expedite and to evolve, basically, more quickly than if we were to remain in structures that are really solidified and speak of endurance. So that's just a little preliminary spiel, but let's get into this reading. So I see a very soft center space here, which is a joy to see, because I don't think that it is something that is perceived outwardly by you, but it is an inner presence that you have that it's just not easily seen. It's like that soft center inside of a hard candy or something. And I want you to know that you don't need to protect this space by your exterior, that this is an energy that doesn't need to be judged as vulnerable. It doesn't need to be seen as weak, that it is the softness that is part of our reality that is very much needed in these times, especially from you. So leading from this space would be miraculous for our world today, being able to give this energy. So let's move over now to your first house, which is how you're appearing, and what you're projecting to the world, your exterior, sometimes even your mask. And lo and behold, here we have it, what I was just saying, this very protective energy that's coming from a place of actually feeling very vulnerable, this hard shell that's not only hard, but can pinch, that can harm, that can snap back at something if you feel that it's threatening, things that you feel are more powerful than you, that you may, instead of knowing how to sync with and harmonize with, may cower from and feel as if they come towards you, if they threaten you, that you will somehow have to fight and defeat them. This is a space that also feels emotionally depleted, that feels like you've been battling for quite some time, that you're in the wreckage of a lot of emotional battle, and that you're seated in turbulent emotional waters. It has you through and through, aside from your very core, feeling defensive and like you're this like wounded warrior almost. So I really encourage you to look at this polarity here between who you are and who you feel yourself to be, and honor that space within you that wants to be soft, that wants to understand that life doesn't have to be a fight, and that you don't have to let your emotions be a place where you carry out battles. I encourage you to find a way that allows you to grow emotionally. And you may be feeling this because, like I said, you're kind of the change agent right now. So there may just be a lot of reactionary energy, that you're getting a lot of kickback, that you're getting a lot of blame, that you're getting a lot of misunderstanding. So there may need to be a way that you learn to communicate, that you learn to be in your reality with your environment, that shows up differently, that takes on a new stance, that takes on a different energy. Okay, so looking now at your second house of value, I am seeing a repetition from the heart space, so there is definitely a softness here. And I really get this sense of innocence, this sense of like, you understand who you are, you get your essence, your selfhood, your way of being in the world, and this brings you a sense of calmness, of understanding, of wanting to be valued for this, wanting to understand that it's okay to be precious, it's okay to be fragile, it's okay to be, not vulnerable, but understood as, precious, as in the sense of like, you're changing, you're not always going to be the same, that the moments that you have to give to the world are very transitory, and if people can't interact with you in that way, a lot is going to be missed. So, there may be this valuation of understanding how you don't want to lose these moments, and you don't want these moments to be misconstrued, and that you want to be able to integrate this aspect of yourself into your environment and have it received. And you may be looking to something like folk remedy or folk culture, something within the folk realm that carries this type of understanding, this way of being in reality that is far less threatening than an overt contemporary way of exhibiting strength in the world. So maybe look to, maybe even in your past, there might be, a history that you can relate to that is about the knowledge that comes through the folk arts, that comes through these less, educated as far as the system of education, the manipulation of knowledge, the control of knowledge, and the wisdom that comes through the folk traditions of being part of a tribe, of a family, of a culture, and keeping that alive, valuing your cultural roots. You may find a lot of restorative energy there, or energy that helps you relate who you really are. So now looking at your third house, this is one of the most intense cards I think I've ever encountered in any of my decks. I have no recollection of it even existing before, although I've looked through this deck many times. So this is quite the card, and I get a ton of energy that I got off of the first house here with it. What I don't understand about this card is who is in this energy. So this is in your house of communication and community, and it's like, are you burning, or is someone else burning? And there is a strong sense of like Inquisition, like the Spanish Inquisition, of questioning other people's integrity, of putting people through the third degree, this like police mentality, the detective mentality, paranoid. This energy is so freaking intense. And, it comes with a ton of authority. So because I do associate you with a lot of authority, I see either your authority being threatened, and because of that, you are, like flipping this energy on someone else, or you're just putting, even if you're, this could be subconscious that you're doing it. So, conscious or subconscious, you're putting people in this energy. And this is an energy that destroys at the very, like it destroys through and through to the core. If you work at this level, you will cut things out completely. There is no salvaging after you use this type of energy. It's not that it won't open up something new, but it definitely is, the final energy. It will take something out. So if you want something out, it will definitely clear. But is it going to accomplish ultimately what you want? Like, what is the motivation here? Other than power and authority. And why is there such a need to have this sort of energy? Why is there such a threat here? So again, for some reason I feel like your sign has been called to be in a really difficult position, and it's so difficult that you can succumb to the role in an unconscious way, where you don't even realize, the part that you're playing out. In a way, it may be serving humanity. It may be able to cut things out in a way that causes permanent transitions. Yet, you will be the character, you'll be the bad guy, quote unquote. So, you may really want to consider how this is playing out, how there is the perception of your energy on the stage, and how there's a disconnect between who you really are internally, because there is just a high contrast situation, I feel, going on between your inner world and your outer worlds. Okay, so now moving into the fourth house in your home, your family, your ancestry. Here I'm actually seeing a lot of peace. I don't see there, to be any upheaval, calamity going on. You may be living alone right now, not having a lot of people in your environment, at least having just a lot of time to yourself in this space, not really communicating a lot with family members, or, your past, and taking the time to take fairly good care of yourself. You may be doing some saunas, some bathing, relaxing. This is a space where you feel like you can be receptive, where you feel like you can be yourself. And again, step into that energy of your inner world, like you're finding a lot of calm and introspection in your home space. So again, inner world, different. Outer world, very, very different. All right, so your 5th house, this is the actual stage that you're on, the performance that you're giving, and how that's being received. So here I'm getting, you're taking this sort of inner strength that you have. You're testing it out, and you're bringing it out into the world and seeing what's going to happen. And in doing this, it's soft. You've achieved an authenticness there as far as its true essence. Yet there is the aspect, so the energy is soft, but the emotion that is joined with the energy is turbulent still, like we see in the 1st house. It gets riled up. It gets almost to the point of that level of destructiveness, like the hurricane energy, just too much unwieldiness going on here. Yet it's coming, or it wants to be, this calm, soft, enlightened, blissful energy. So we'll see. We'll keep going here. We'll see how this keeps unfolding. Moving into the 6th house of your daily routine and your health. I'm seeing here that you are healthy. You are connected to your heart space. You're connected to your intelligence, your ability to think and perceive. You are even connected to what you find brings you passion and what keeps you rooted. You seem like you're using what you have in your environment to help stabilize and enrich these energies quite a bit for yourself. Like you're really building and making more dense these energies that you want to hold. So there's less of a softness here and more of a solidifying of the energy. And it's coming across yet again a little bit threatening in a way. You're just trying to strengthen yourself, and it appears a little too strong. I almost get like there's a level of self-indulgence going on here in what maybe you're eating or taking medicinally. Maybe you're going to the doctor a lot. Maybe you're taking a lot of medication. Maybe you're experimenting with a lot of herbs, taking a lot of substances to alter you mentally and physically. And this may be a space and a realm where you're you're doing this to try to rectify, to try to transform to a certain degree, but also like just fix and stabilize things that are not necessarily going well for you. So this may be, your daily routine may have become, and your health become like a tool for you to counter things going on around you. Okay, now I'm looking at your 7th house of relationships and your balance. And I see that the relationship that you're having with yourself is probably the strongest right now, that you've really been building this, and you've been adding layers and layers of strength. It's definitely like a continuation of the previous card, where you're really securing through outside sources of things that can give you energy. You're like taking that energy and making it into matter, and it's making you stronger. And I don't get anything bad from this, but considering that it's in your relationship sector, I don't necessarily know how this is helping you relate to another, how this is helping you be in partnership, because you're showing up as sort of more evolved, beyond the ordinary. This is not an energy that speaks of blending in, of harmonizing, of synthesizing, of being like other people. This is really a standalone energy. And I guess I would kind of caution to say, maybe see how other people relate to this. Because even though that you feel ennobled and self-sufficient, and that you've done a really good job at taking care of yourself and of your needs on all levels, ultimately, what purpose does this serve? Like, where in the evolutionary reality does this lead you and lead others? And I don't even know if that's a relevant question, but that's just what comes up. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to your 8th house, which is where you can kind of dive deep. You can do personal investigation. And again, we are seeing this symbol of this softness coming through, like we had in your center card. There is some desolation, some burning of the landscape, of the reality, through a lot of impassioned presence here. So at a foundational level, things may be burning, or you're coming out of things having burned at the very core of their structure. So there may be new ground to be rebuilt, but this is in your internal world. So this is speaking of you and you rebuilding yourself. So I do see that you are valuing, despite all this internal destruction, this identity that is putting an emphasis on the power of the softness, the power in being quiet. And there is this acknowledgement that's sweeping through, that's saying internally you get that you need to be operating on all levels, that there is an energy throughout this spectrum that needs to be part of you, that needs to illuminate you from within, and that you need to fill maybe this internal space that you have been burning at its very, core, with a spectrum of reality. It makes me think back to the Libra reading I was doing a little bit earlier. They were very much in touch with this, root chakra energy too, the survival instinct, more in an intellectual way, where for you it's actually like a built physical thing that comes through, and it's connected to your power and your leadership. For them as well, leadership. But there was this acknowledgement that there's more of yourself that you can grow. There's more dimensions that you need to start taking on, that you need to be identifying as part of being a human being, that you're not coming from one aspect of yourself, that there are many dimensions, that you're a multidimensional being, and that you need to bring in these energies and let them have a presence within you. And in order for that to happen, there needs to be maybe this clearing away. And there is a ton of destructive, intense energy here. So this may have been a very difficult process for you. But we do see that the change is starting from within here, that you are allowing this personal growth to start transforming you. Okay, so I'm going to look now at your 9th house. This is the area where you can really go beyond what you know right now. Higher knowledge, things that are outside of what you've normalized, that challenge your boundaries of your reality. And we're really getting here the oneness, the primary, the first dimension of reality, the beginning of existence, the understanding of where you actually have evolved from. So this is a very high energy. It's, this is connecting you to the source. So because this is beyond something you've been experiencing, this may be a key to your growth, is really getting connected to an understanding of the source of your personal reality and your perception of this, and how this creates the world around you. And if this can help you build your outer world in a way that is brand new from the combative world that you may have been experiencing. So there may be something in mysticism, something, this is for me beyond religion. But it is the bigger questions in life, the bigger philosophical. Where do we come from? Who am I? What am I? I am, ultimately here. So ask the big questions. Seek in stillness the ultimate reality. So your 10th house, which is your pinnacle of achievement in the outside world. I am seeing you as you know, you've been the leader, you've been the strong one, you have been the father in a way, and you know how to protect, and you know how to just do your job. Like, you've understood who you are and what you're doing. But there's this sense of, like, I almost get that this creature has been is on a wall hanging, is no, you know, like a product of taxidermy. Like, your authority has become a relic. It is no longer a living, viable presence, and it served its purpose in its time. It was what was necessary. It did its job, so no harm done. Yet in the present moment, it can't serve. It's not what is needed anymore. And this may have you kind of rethinking your role and your identity, and knowing that is being witnessed from the outside too. People are questioning, who are you, and why are you the way that you are, and who are you becoming, and you know, where is your place now? And you may need to seek something beyond yourself that helps you understand your role. That, you know, astrology comes to mind, this sort of idea of predestination, of saying this is who you are because of this structure, and this is, you know, your identity is connected to where you fit into this. So there may be, if not in astrology, some type of information that helps you interpret your purpose, your new role, how to be in the world, how to act in the world in a different way, and in a way that helps you expand and allows you just to be okay with yourself, and for others to be okay with it too. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that's going to be, but that is really begging for your attention there. Okay, so your 11th house of dreams and aspirations and hopes, wishes. This may be the key card. I'm not sure. It's kind of going back to the 9th house, really connecting with the source. Yeah, so I see you may be taking on regression, past life regression, just soul regression, something about going back, learning how to go to the single point. You know, the first dimension, and clearing out all that has been until now, you know, this starting over and reprogramming, restructuring, building new codes for yourself at your very core, at a DNA level. So, you know, when I was saying just in the card before, I'm not quite sure what this is for you. You know, there could be something at that level where you can start to reprogram, you know, on this cellular encoding, you know, level, where you're actually changing the DNA that is activated. And through this, you are evolving. You are reinventing yourself. You're learning new parts of yourself. You're turning on knowledge that was just maybe dormant. So your very last card for your 12th house here. I feel so good about this. I mean, I'm getting a little emotional because it's like you've mastered this this energy that was so destructive for you. You know, that foundational energy that was getting out of control, that was too much, but it seems to come natural for you. You just have like a profuse amount of it. So it's showing up here again, but it's blended with that softer energy. Like you've integrated the two together and you've brought that energy up that normally would stay in the root. You've allowed it to come up into your, higher chakras, and also throughout your entire aura. It's created an energetic field that is allowing you to now achieve and just balance out all of the struggle that you've had. So you haven't lost anything, but through this process of integration, you have learned to balance these polarities. So alongside the intense strength that you're showing, you're also showing the softness just as intensely, and it's just as strong as that power, that sort of blood power of the root chakra, and the softness of the lightest white light. And you've really allowed this energy to move through your system. You've worked with it intellectually, and you've worked with it through your lower chakras too. And the only space that I see you kind of still resolving here is your heart chakra. You're not quite sure how this works for you. This is a very vulnerable space for you. This may be where you perceive that you've had a lot of wounding, where you've held the softest energy and you don't want it to be hurt. So I see you not giving so much from this space right now, but I feel like it's okay. Like you are still in the process of mastering this energy, and that you will get there. But the progress, the achievement that you have made thus far is absolutely amazing. And this, in your 12th house, this is about your ability to self-transcend, to be something more than your circumstances, to recreate yourself through the process of death, letting aspects of yourself die so that you can be reborn again. And so I think if you really stick with this energy, that you are going to be amazed at the transformation that comes through, and the ease and the ability to be strong and perceived as that, and know that you are that, yet not be harmed by that energy, not have other people fighting you and reacting to you. It's so beautiful. So I wish you all the best, Capricorn, and sending you love and just blessings. Take care.